Hello there. And I already know the sentiment about the Michael Bay designs all around. It's either, oh, they are not G1 enough. I wish they were more G1. And they are fine. Just shut up. And I can see why both sides have those opinions, but for me, I just like them. That's it. And sometimes it's not just, oh, this doesn't look like Soundwave. Sometimes it's just a cool design, you know? Case and point. So today's review is gonna be about, I think it's Best Toys Acoustic Wave. It's his name. It's basically a KO of a third-party version of Soundwave. I think the original was from a company called Newage. It was Newage Mista, I think. I certainly like Newage, but the price, the original price of this guy was just too much. Too much. So this figure being around 40 bucks was way around the mark that I usually would pay for something like this. And is it worth 40 bucks? Well, first of all, he comes with one accessory being his, I don't know what gun this is actually. I think it's some kind of blaster because he was gonna blast Bumblebee in the face. But in my kid mind, this looks more like a sort of machine gun. And to attach it, you need to open up his fingers. And he has, right here, he has 2 holes. And here you have 2 pegs. So you just try and tap it in while there's a camera. There you go. And then you just wrap his fingers around it. Yeah, he holds it with no problems, Houston. And that's it for accessories. This KO version does not come with the Laserbeak nor the Ravage. So there's really nothing much to say about accessories, so let's talk a bit about the figure. And I gotta say, I think this is one of the best painted figures in my collection, or the best painted figure on my collection. Because this silver is just, oh, it's so gorgeous. It's really eye-catching, and it really draws your attention to it. And also there's a bit of gold, some red, there's this magenta here for the tail lights, more gold. There's a bit of blue for some reason. And also the eyes, man. They use the same red paint for the eyes and it really pops. And it seems like they used a different type of gunmetal here for the sides of the head. And it really makes the head pop a bit more. And also, as this is a KO, there are some things that are cut short. For example, the original tires on the figure were rubber, but on this guy they are just solid plastic. And also I've seen some concerns on some comments on videos where they were in another language about how much of this guy is actual metal. And from what I can tell, there's these parts here on the foot that feel somewhat colder, and also this shin piece here. These are the parts that I can feel that are actually metal, because I don't know, I kinda don't care. Well, but if you're curious, it's just on the legs and nothing else. But let's talk a bit about aesthetics. The head sculpt here is gorgeous. It's accurate to the film from what I remember, and it really shows with these paints. The detailing here on the side is very well done. The eyes are really well done, as I've said. And also the articulation here is very nice. It can rotate, and there's basically 2 joints here. From what I can tell, there's a ball joint up here, and then there's a hinge joint down there. So you can give him the little bit of a chicken neck. So you can adjust the head how much you want. And it really gives it some expressiveness, not gonna lie. As for the torso, there's the Mercedes logo there. I don't know what is it with these third-party companies, because sometimes they put the logos on the figures, but sometimes they omit them. I don't know. But basically the torso is also very well done. It has some parts of the car while also being very mechanical. It is very well painted also with these black parts here. And these tab in really nicely. Everything tabs in very well. Except these front parts here, they don't really lock in anywhere, but they stay in just fine. As for the articulation, it only gets the swivel at the waist, but it's what I expected. You know, this design is a lot busy right now, so having some ab crunch here, I don't think it was worth it, especially considering the transformation on this thing that we will get to later. And here on the arms, it is also the same thing, very mechanical. And one thing I think Theo pointed out is that it also has some speakers on here that really gives some reference to the original Soundwave theme. But also this figure had some, I think this is a piston or a baton or something. And the mechanical detail here is really nice. And one thing that I have to point out, because it's something that really jived with me, the articulated hands. They are extra sturdy and each finger is on a hinge joint. Because I've handled the KFC transistor, that thing is a piece of shit. Especially those tiny ass fingers. And these actually being nice to pose and nicely feeling, it's actually really good. It really gives me some hope for some more articulated fingers. I really like this system. It is basically 2 hinge joints at each finger, and the thumb is on a ball joint because of transformation, and the other 2 hinge joints. So you can give him a punch, but he can also flip you off. As for the rest of the articulation here, the arm can rotate. It has some kind of backwards butterfly joint. The arm can move out about that far. It has a bicep swivel. I think that's a bicep anyways. It has a single jointed elbow for 90 degrees. And the hands are on a ball joint. And the torso just untabbed right after I said this tabs in very well. And the legs are kind of a mess. It is more of a mess of parts, and it kind of needs to be for the transformation also. But I would have liked to see something more. Some more sculpting on the sides, because there is some sculpting detailing here. But some more robot mode oriented parts. Because this here is just the car parts. And it has some looseness issues, like this joint here is a bit loose. The ball joints here on the feet are a bit too loose for my liking. And some parts on the transformation are a bit too tight, and I will show them later. But for articulation, the legs can go out about this far. The legs can go forward, they can go back. You have a thigh swivel. You got a single jointed knee that goes for 90 degrees. And a foot that can pivot a little bit, and it can move forward and backwards. A bit loose though. So that's one of the things that I originally thought that the original figure was overpriced, because I don't think this articulation is very good. But for the price of this particular KO, I think it's acceptable, because it's 40 bucks. What do you expect for articulation? But for 200, nah. Too much. So for some size comparisons, Here he is with the Masterpiece movie Barricade. So they are about the same size. I think these two look very good together. It's the darkness and light. I really like this combo. It really appeals to me. And for now in my collection, I don't have a G1 styled Soundwave. So for a G1 comparison, here's Transform and Rollout Agent Meister. Fuck this thing. So, here's the back of the figure. It is a bit panel heavy because of some of the vehicle mold parts, but it has some sculpted detail in here to kind of look like a back. And it really appeals to me. So now, let us talk about the transformation. And one thing I had to point out, the instructions suck and they don't work because they're on backwards. This guy comes out of the box in robot mode and the instructions go from vehicle to robot. What the fuck? So let's get going, shall we? Well, this is already untapped from me maneuvering it, so just untap these. And then you untap here the front, and then all this will go up. And it will get all the way for the legs. Because you have to untap this part right here, and it will swing around. And you have to bring the foot down to get this part away. And we can work a bit back here. You have to basically get these pieces here lined up. You rotate the headlights, the headlight actually, and you just have to line it up with the part you just unfurled. It's hard to do on front of the camera, but trust me, on hand it's a lot easier. Now what I like to do is basically get this piece opened up. And you can start rotating the whole leg around. Because you really need it backwards for this part. Now we need to fold the heel spurs down. This part right here can and needs to separate, rotate, and collapse. Now what you need to do is basically break his ankle. No, break his knees actually. This part needs to go down. This part here needs to go up. I'm an idiot. I rotated the legs the wrong way. You basically need them with the knee spike here pointing up. And then you can wrap the whole leg around. And the ankle needs to go inside the leg. And this piece can go down to basically lock it. And now we need to basically line everything up here. And you first snap in this. You will feel the tab basically. You can snap this and close it up. And then you will re-tab everything in. And you don't need this spike here all the way in. You need it a little bit out. And then it will tab in with no problem. Same thing for the other side. And then there's this section in the middle that has two pegs on each side. And you basically need to tap them into place. And then you just tap the two legs together. Well, it's this. And then what I like to do here is just get the doors already situated in their correct place. And one thing I did here to the doors, I basically sheared off the tab or cut it off because it was too tight and it didn't go in. I'm not gonna say do it to yours because quality control on these things are a bit shit. So what I would recommend is just caution, because yours may break, yours may not. I don't know. And now we go to the upper body. First of all, you need to collapse the head in, and then what you need to do is rotate these down and a bit out. And let's work a bit here on the arms. First, you need to flip this thing in and flip this to there. And on the hand, you need it all the way out. You need to rotate the thumb to the other side and wrap it around the arm. And then it needs to be up. Same thing for the other side. And everything here will go up. And this part on the front will rotate around. And now you need to straighten this out. It may be a bit tight, but it will budge. This part here will go up, and you can drop this here. And you need to maneuver this around, and it will tab into the front like this. Same thing for the other side. And now we straighten out these danglers here in the front. And we can now work on the rest of the arms. You need to open up this panel, and you need to basically fold the hand in on itself. You need to fold the arm on itself, and everything needs to go in a certain way. The thumb needs to be straight, and the hand needs to be pointed to the inside on this part. And it helps if you undo some stuff, and if you fiddle with it a bit, because you need to get the hand basically on this position. And now we can tab these in. It first tabs in on the headlight here, and then you tab it in on the inside. And then you adjust the hand here on the inside, and you repeat that shit to the other side. I'll do that again because I didn't explain it properly. So the hand needs to be like this. This opens up. Then you airdrop this into the inside. And then you basically need to fiddle with it until you get to this position. And then you tab the headlight in first, and then you tab in the tabs here on the inside. And then it looks like he's spraying in here. Now we can finish the transformation by just tabbing the back part and the front part. And if you didn't share those tabs, you just bag them in, and then get the doors tapped in. Mine won't tab in because of the mod I did, so be careful with yours. And also, I forgot to point out on the transformation that you actually need to fold these in. Fold these in. And we're done. And here is Mista in his vehicle mode. Gotta say, this is a sexy car. The silver pops in here. And it is nice to see the rims here painted, even though they aren't rubber like the original. There's the detail here to open the door. That's nice. And one thing, I've seen all this from the lazy eyebrow, I know, but the little thingies here on the inside are actually painted, but you can't see because my light is shit. There's all the black here on the front, the headlights are clear. And I gotta be honest, I don't care much for the clear windows. For me, if they were a smoky clear instead of a complete clear, it would actually be nicer to look at. I know that it's a car and the windows are actually like this, but I don't care. But yeah, a smoky transparent here would be nice, something like the DX9 Hot Rod. But besides that, it's a really nice vehicle mode. It holds together very well, everything taps in. Just one thing, the doors here, the windshield, no, it's not a windshield. The side mirrors here are actually hard plastic on this version, so really don't use these forever. Just put your finger in there and just open the door like this. And of course, there is no real interior here, but I don't know what you are going off of to expect an interior. This is not an alternator, and you don't want this to be an alternator. It wouldn't go well. So for some size comparisons, here is MP Barry. This is actually a really good scale, I think. If we go off from the size of the tires, I think they're in good scale. Even though this is my favorite figure, I think this is the one with the nicest paint that I've got. And the transformation here is really complex, but it's not really a clusterfuck. I know it looked like a clusterfuck because the camera's on my way, but this isn't actually that bad off camera. Can't really just judge this from the perspective on camera, you know? But yeah, I think this is a really nice vehicle and a really nice robot in general. So I would give this like an 8 out of 10. There are some things here that I had to fix, and I still have to fix some things, but it still is a nice figure. But it was a bit of a chore to get a review on this because there were basically no English reviews of this particular KO. And every English review went from the car to the robot. So MGO is a saint, because I wouldn't be able to figure this out on my own. But well, that's the video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.